Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, where I learned this truth from. Much respect to the brothers that are out there preaching and teaching the truth worldwide across the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and freedom for this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim and Akwaf that might be listening to this lesson. This is your brother Abba Yabba, coming through with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And the title of my lesson is Patience is a Virtue. Now, patience is defined as the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. And virtue is a quality considered morally good or desirable in a person. So we should always understand that while we're here, that is exercising our patience, because we know through the truth and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, through the wisdom and knowledge that he's given us, that we're not at our rest. This is hell for us to still be here, and we need patience each and every day to contend with our flesh to cause us to be anxious or angry about being in the situation that we're in, even though it is because of us, ourselves rather, that we're in this situation. And having the virtue, the quality, you know what I'm saying, to have this patience is only given through Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because, you know, if we were carnal, you know, it'll be easy for us to not have the patience. We will always be antsy, always be anxious, always, you know, want something quick. And that's also why we have to die to our flesh. That's why we have to fast, and that's why we have to ask for particular patience, because that's not something that just comes. It has to be given. It has to be worked on, you know what I'm saying, day in and day out. I've been told I have patience. I don't have patience with every particular thing, and I know that's something that I'm working on as well. But it was only through working on that particular thing that I've come to have the patience that I do have, you know. And that's with everything that we do in this truth. We have to work on it. You know, every day is another stepping stone and another process to us getting what we desire. And patience is something that we should be desiring at this time as well, because we know we have work to do until Yahweh Shai comes back. And we also know that we have to preach and teach this word, and we also have to be patient with things that are going about round about us, patient with the people that we're teaching, patience with, you know, our people that we work with on the plantations, patience just with, you know, the people that we live with, you know, whether it be our spouse, whether it be our children. We have to have abundance of patience. So I'm not going to ramble on. I'm going to go into my scripture. And my first scripture that I'm going to start off with is Psalms 37, 7 and 9. And it reads, it says, "Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth." So it's a lot in those three scriptures, but we should always, you know, wait and be patient, you know, as the Lord is doing his work, whether it be in us or through us. We wait on him to do what he needs to do. And we shouldn't worry about the things round about us, the things that are happening to those that are, you know, maybe 2/3 of other nations, or those that are Edomites that are out here prospering in this wicked kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not for us. We don't want anything temporary. We want the eternal blessing that is waiting on us, but we have to be patient for it. We shouldn't be angry for what? Why should we be angry knowing that we have work to do? We don't have time to be emotional over the simple things, but we should always find time to be patient and do the work that Yahweh Shem Yahshua has given us. And we should never, allow ourselves to do evil. We should be wise enough or have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding enough to not allow our emotions to push us to do evil. You know what I'm saying? Because if we do and we go left or we go outside of this truth, we know that the wicked, they will not inherit the kingdom, nor will they be able to, as it says, inherit the earth, because we have to be in right standing with Yahweh Shem Yahshua to do that. So we can't allow our lack of patience, per se, or, the stirring up of our emotions to cause us to fall out of this truth and go back to the world or go to being more carnal than we need to be in these times. Ecclesiastes 7, 8 through 9, and it says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. So, once again, this scripture here, with the verses that I just read, both 8 and 9, is letting us know that we have to finish strong, and patience is much better than arrogance. Being patient in a thing is much better than, you thinking that you're better than someone and that you deserve more and that, that you are above everyone, knowing that we are still in the servitude mode in this wicked kingdom. So we can't even look at ourselves as being better. We're not above yet. We are beneath, and we're beneath even Esau, and knowing that he's not in his rightful place, but he's in his rightful place right now because this is his wicked kingdom. But we know that we can't be arrogant. We have to have patience, and we have to control our temper while doing so. And we know that only those that are not able to control their temper, they're the ones that are fools, because they allow their emotions to take over and not think thinks things through and be clear in their mind in order to do the things that need to be done. We know Yahushua is coming soon, and that in itself is going to cause some anxiousness, in us, and it's going to cause us to want to see him, as soon as possible. But we know also that we have work to do, and we know that we cannot do that if we're getting ahead of ourselves. So we just have to keep our heads down and do the work, and be diligent while doing so, and continue every day to be better than we were the day before, and not let our emotions take over us, because we know, once again, as the scripture says, if we allow, the anger or the emotions in us to control us, then we're going to look like fools out here. And that's not a clear or good representation of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. So we have a standard to uphold. We have an image to present. And we also have a mindset to keep each and every day. And with that patience, we know that Jacob's trouble is going to come to pass. We know that things are going to come that we've never seen before. But we have to be patient, because with patience, becomes a betterment of your situation, because you're not running ahead and doing things and putting yourself in a position to where you will fail, but you're being patient, and you're also paying attention, and you're also waiting, on the Lord as we should, and He's going to give us what we need through Jacob's trouble. Isaiah 40:31, it gives a perfect representation of that. It says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." So we know that's talking about spiritual power, and we know that we're going to need that through Jacob's trouble in order for us to be able to overcome it. We can't do it on our own strength. We can't make it through just on what we have. The mindset of a person that is not a believer is to gather up all the guns, food, and all these other things that would cause your carnal mind to be settled in that time. But we know that building up our faith, being present in our purpose, and also having the patience and the power that Yahweh Shemi Al-Shah is going to give us is what's going to allow us to make it through. And we can't do it without Him. We can't do it without Him changing us. So we have to be patient. A perfect example is, how a caterpillar, it's a worm coming to the world, but in order for him to get, that ability to be who he or who it really is to become, it has to be patience, and it has to go through a transformation. You know what I'm saying? And that body that it first comes in the world with is temporal, as we are before we come into this truth. But once that truth manifests in us, then we're able to blossom and bloom into something totally different in a new body, and that we'll be able to be more powerful and more magnificent and more beautiful than we ever were before. The worm is weak. The worm, it can only crawl around and be more of a prey for those that are looking for food. But that butterfly, it can move around, and it can fly, and it can be also a magnificent sighting while it's doing this thing, as we will be, and it will be in a better place versus being that caterpillar. But I don't want to stray off from that, but it's just the presence of the Lord, but the patience in it is what we have to understand, and what we have to know that we have to go through in order for us to get to where we want to get in our final destination, being in the kingdom and living eternity in that kingdom, in our rightful place and position, and in our new bodies. Romans 8:25, and it reads, it says, "But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it." So we're looking forward to the kingdom, but we have to wait on it. We have to understand that it's not going to come when we want it. We have to understand that Yahweh Shemi Al-Shah is in control. We have to understand that day by day, we're getting closer and closer to our reward, per se. But we have to be patient, and we can't make it come faster than what it needs to be. We have to wait on that to fully manifest itself, for us to get it in the timing that Yahweh Shemi Al-Shah wants for us. And we know that He never makes mistakes, and He's always on time. So we have to have that patience in mind and in spirit to wait on what He has for us. Romans 12:12 is my next scripture, and it reads, it says, "Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer." So we should always rejoice and be confident and be hopeful, that we are of the elect, and that we will be on those chariots when Yahweh Shah comes. we should be patient during the things that the trials and tribulations, the things that are going to come. If we're blessed uh, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahshua to see it, we should be patient in that, and we should always be in prayer, praying without ceasing. You know what I'm saying? Is what our mindset should be each and every day in and day out, because we can't fall out of this truth. We can't get to the point to where we feel like we've done enough, because we can never do enough. We can't feel like we're tired doing this, because there's so many things that we need to do before we leave here, and Yahweh Shem Shai has blessed us thus far, and he will never leave us nor forsake us. But we have to understand that we have to have the patience, through it. It's gonna be some times where it's gonna be heavy. It's gonna be times where you don't feel like it. It's gonna be times where your body is aching. It's gonna be times to where your mind is so weighed down with things that are stressful and things that are causing you to be distracted. But you got to press through it, and you got to be patient with the process. You know what I'm saying? Because Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to take care of us. And it reads in Galatians 6:9, it says, "And let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." So, as I said before, the scripture, we can't give up. We can't allow us in our minds and even in our bodies to be so anxious that, let's take a race, for instance, or for example. If you take off because you thinking that you have it in you to just run the race extremely fast when it's a long distance race, and you take off and you lose, your win, and you are becoming exhausted, you're not gonna finish the race. So we have to go at our own pace. There's people that are in this truth that have a pace that is extreme and phenomenal, to where they can come into it and just hit the ground running. But there are some that are gonna be slower than others, but still they have to run at their own pace in order for them to make it to the end, to endure to the end, to have the patience and the desire and hope to make it to the end. So we have to run the race at our pace, but knowing that if we don't fall out, if we don't faint and we don't give up, then we're gonna reap, the blessing that we so desire, and that is the kingdom itself. And with that, I'm going to end off in Philippians 4:6. And it reads, it says, "Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be known unto Yahweh Shem Yahshua." So to bring it all together and present it in a way and in a fashion that we should all be edified by, is we shouldn't worry about anything. We shouldn't be having the mindset to worry about tomorrow. We should do what we gotta do today. And knowing that Yahweh Shem Yahshua has us, he has his hands upon us, and with our prayers and with us, giving, ourselves over to Yahweh Shem Yahshua, letting him know that we know he's in charge. We know that he has everything in his hand, and he has all the power to do whatever needs to be done, and being fearful of him, but also acknowledging him and having faith in him and trust and belief in him. Then we know that he's gonna bless us. So we just have to thank him in advance and continue on doing what we are put here to do, and knowing that in the end, when everything is all said and done, and when the dust clears, and when the kingdom is beforehand, we're gonna look at our situation and know that Yahweh Shem Yahshua carried us through it. And it only took us to have fear, obedience, faith, and belief and trust in him, knowing that he would carry us through it. But it was the patience that also was necessary for us to make it to the end as well. So that is the conclusion of my lesson. I pray that all that were listening were edified. And as always, I give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Until my next lesson, Shalom.